This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for getting up with us on this Sunday morning. I'm Tim Gordon. This morning on Sunrise, the controversy surrounding Secretary of State Shemia Fagan has Oregon lawmakers calling for change. Their thoughts on increasing pay and tightening rules over side jobs. King Charles III is now officially crowned. Hear from one local royal watcher who saw the last coronation 70 years ago. But before we get to all that, let's check in with Chris McGinnis for a quick look at the forecast. Chris?
Maybe I can get crowned for this warm weather forecast that we have coming later this week. All right, all that said, let's get you out the door right now. Here's a pretty look from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. Cascade Head off in the distance, the breakers coming ashore, and a little bit of clouds and some breaks in the clouds giving us a colorful sunrise there. From the beach to the mountain. Yes, it is snowing up at Timberline this morning. Fresh flakes up there, and in between the Wells Fargo sky camera showing broken cloud cover over downtown Portland right now. We're waking up to temperatures that are generally in the upper 40s to about 50, 51 at PDX, 50 in Troutdale, upper 40s in Scappoose and Hillsborough, low to mid 40s along the Oregon coast this morning. It's 43 in Tillamook, and we hop over the Cascades. It's a little cooler this morning than it was yesterday. John Day is down to 33. Bend, at 39. All right, we do have a couple of sprinkles and snow flurries in the higher terrain, but most of us generally dry this morning despite the cloud cover. And today, a lot like yesterday, lots of clouds, maybe a sprinkle, but I really don't think most of us see much, if any, rain at all today. So we've got clouds and sun breaks with highs in the mid 60s. A big work week warm up in the 7-day forecast. More on that in just a few.
All right, Chris, thanks. We'll see you then. Well, we've got a big traffic alert for you this morning. All MAX lines are back in full service. Crews have finished up several track improvements along the I-84 corridor. Since mid-April, passengers have been taking shuttle buses between the Gateway Transit Center and Northeast 7th Avenue. But now, full service for the blue, green, and red line is back up and running. Now to an update on Oregon Secretary of State Shemia Fagan. She's set to resign tomorrow. Fagan steps down amid controversy over her former side job as a consultant. She worked for a cannabis company, which she admits paid her $10,000 a month. Well, on Monday, Fagan apologized to Oregonians. She said her $77,000 a year salary was not enough to support her family. Well, ethics rules do allow for outside employment, but now lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say it's time to consider tightening those rules and increasing salaries.
Yes, I do think we need to revisit those ethics laws, because I don't believe any statewide elected officials should be receiving outside money. I think it's too dangerous. But the one thing that I think Shemia Fagan was right about is that salaries are too low.
I mean, I think that the ethics rules, we should be looking at the ethics rules as well. I think the pay issue is something that we should address first. And that's what I believe that we are going to try to address this session.
Well, the Deputy Secretary of State will step in for Fagan while Governor Tina Kotek considers a permanent replacement. Well, Saturday saw a horrific scene in Texas. 8 victims are confirmed dead after a shooting at a shopping mall north of Dallas. And at least 7 more people were injured in that shooting, and several remain in critical condition. Local police say an officer who was at the mall on an unrelated call shot and killed the gunman. Investigators believe the shooter was acting alone, but are still trying to establish a motive for the shooting. According to the Gun Violence Archive, there have been nearly 200 mass shootings in the U.S. this year. It's only May 7th. Well, at Churchill Downs, the deaths of 2 more horses overshadowed Saturday's Kentucky Derby. Both horses were hurt on the track and euthanized because of their injuries. This comes after 4 other horses died a week before the Derby. Those horses also suffered injuries. Now, a statement from Churchill Downs says the deaths are highly unusual and they stand by their belief that their tracks are safe.
God save the King. God save King Charles. Long live King Charles. May the King live forever.
And of course, this was the scene of the day, and it was in London yesterday. King Charles III was formally crowned as the British monarch on Saturday. Festivities continue throughout the weekend in the UK for what many consider a once-in-a-lifetime, well, once-in-a-generation event at least. Alma McCarty met two local women who watched the festivities from different vantage points. Both have special connections to the historic day.
Following the royal family might not be everyone's cup of tea, but those with fond memories or deep ties tuned in to witness history for the first time, or in one case, a second.
Crowds of people gathered in London Saturday morning, a front row seat to catch a glimpse of King Charles III and the royal family on the day of his coronation.
We were packed in, almost like little sardines.
Yeah, and we were three rows back from the front.
Among them, Jackie Hillsbury and her friend Sandy Schweier. The two met at Hillsborough High School and share a British connection.
We're both turning 60 this year, and that this was going to be our 60th birthday adventure. And King Charles made it, so it'll be even more special.
The pomp and pageantry, the banners and gold carriage, the entire experience exceeding their expectations.
During the ceremony, they sang God Save the King, and then everybody around sang God Save the King, and it just sent goosebumps. It's such a historic moment, and it's probably something that we may not see again,
in our lifetime.
And I love this.
Back in Vancouver,
Aged a little bit.
Jan White, turning 90 years old in October, watched her second coronation while reflecting on her first.
But I know we slept on the sidewalk overnight before the coronation, and the day of the coronation, we waved at the Queen, as she came by after her coronation.
In 1953, she saved up to accompany her friend.
This is Joan and her three brothers.
On the trip overseas when she was just 19 years old.
She lived in Luton, which is 35 miles north of London. She lived at 97 Harcourt Street. I remember that so well.
Those memories from the trip of a lifetime, still cherished on Coronation Day, 70 years later.
I picked up a lot of souvenirs, which my daughter-in-law has had, and I didn't realize she had so many. It's been a fun day for me looking at all the stuff and realizing all of this was because I went to England.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Well, take a look at what washed up along the Oregon coast. These are lancet fish. Skinny little things. The deep sea species is known to occasionally surface like this in our area, and scientists are trying to figure out why. This time they were spotted between Nehalem and Bandon. That's a 200-mile stretch. The fish have fanged jaws, big eyes, no scales. And if you think they look creepy, and they do, they're also cannibals. Okay, Oregon State Parks is asking anyone who sees one to post a pic on Facebook and tag them also along with NOAA so they can know what's going on out there. Well, take a quick scroll through social media and you might quickly notice two crimes that stand out. We're talking shoplifting and stolen cars. Well, this week, leaders in Multnomah County and Portland announced a plan to crack down with the creation of two new task forces. Kyle Laboshi shows us how this is going to work.
Multnomah County DA Mike Schmidt, along with other local leaders and law enforcement, held a press conference to explain the plan. They're going to hire 5 people to help lead the task forces targeting car thieves and shoplifters, including 2 prosecutors, a pair of investigators, and a legal assistant. Schmidt explained these teams will focus on the worst offenders.
If you got to prioritize, we want to prioritize the people who have 3, 4, 5, 6 stolen car cases out there and make sure that at the very least they are being held accountable.
As we've been reporting, there's been a real spike in retail theft cases in the Portland area. Many retailers admit shoplifting has gotten so out of control, they don't even bother reporting it. The KGW investigation showed criminals literally stealing merchandise off store shelves and walking out the front door with little or no fear of being arrested or prosecuted. Even Multnomah County's top prosecutor admits he's witnessed it.
I mean, I myself was shopping at a local retailer, and I'm in the Lego aisle with my son, and we saw somebody scoop up a bunch of Legos and walk out. I think we've all seen it.
Previously, our reporting found the prosecution rate for misdemeanor petty theft cases in Portland, which includes shoplifting, is 46%. That means less than half of the theft 2 or theft 3 cases sent to the Multnomah County DA's office by police are charged. most cases are dismissed. At the time, DA Schmidt explained those cases that are dismissed are often rejected because prosecutors don't have the evidence they need. The DA hopes the extra prosecutors and investigators on the task force can help with that follow-up, things like interviews, collecting evidence, or surveillance video that will help build a case and hold criminals accountable.
Yeah, as Kyle mentioned, the other task force will focus on stolen cars. It's a big issue. Last year, nearly 11,000 cars were ripped off in Portland. That means, on average, a car is stolen every 48 minutes. Well, college graduation season is here. Saturday, nursing students at the University of Portland had their pinning ceremony. This is the school's biggest ever nursing class, with 252 nurses getting their pins. That's especially important as the country deals with a shortage of nurses. Full commencement at UP is later on today. Congratulations to them. And also congratulations to the class of 2023 at Washington State University. Go Cougs! There, I said it. This was the big commencement ceremony in Pullman yesterday. You know, more than 4,400 students are graduating this spring across the WSU system. Another 2,000 graduated in December. Now, those numbers include the 400 plus students graduating at WSU Vancouver. They had their ceremony at the amphitheater in Ridgefield. Congrats to everyone. And remember, a lot of these students had their freshman years disrupted with the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in the spring of 2020. So they've had to overcome a lot. Wish them all well. Well, still to come on Sunrise, a big night at Providence Park. They mark the 10-year anniversary of a very special game. How a teen's wish to play with the Timbers is now making other wishes come true. And did you know you can watch Sunrise anytime you want on KGW+. In fact, all of our news is on Roku and Amazon Fire. Just look for that KGW app and add us to your home screen and stream Sunrise on your schedule. We'll be right back.